We spoke about tshuva, repentance, tefillah, which is the shofar. And today I would like to focus on the next tool, which is called in Hebrew tzedakah, or charity. Of course, every day it's very powerful to give tzedakah, to give charity. And it says that throughout the entire 40 days, it's actually more powerful time to attach my tzedakah with the same intention. The intention is transformation of negativity of the world and my own negativity, transforming darkness to light. And the question is why? Why is it that tshuva, repentance, tefillah, prayer, the shofar is not enough? Why is it needed as well, tzedakah, charity? Because it says that tshuva, repentance, and tefillah, prayer, are of course nice, but a lot in the head. Desire, consciousness, we live in the physical world. So in order to actually, the Kabbalists say, create change, I need to do a physical action as well. And in this case of letting go or giving away something that I'm attached to. Because all the short circuits have to do with holding on to the illusion. Tzedakah, charity, is the opposite. It's giving up the control. So the difference between tithing, which is 10%, truma, contribution, and tzedakah, charity, basically a penny that you give is always a positive action of giving. Tzedakah, which is donation, charity, really refers to not just of giving with the intention of giving up something, but it's about the effort. It's really about the effort, going beyond the comfort zone, doing my extra mile to whatever extent, because it actually gives me the chance to express my letting go of attachment to the physical reality. And I'm giving it over to the light to protect myself and to take care of myself. Of course, I can pray all day long. I can meditate to change all day long, but I need to manifest that change with an action. That's the reason why it says tefillah, prayers and meditations and tzedakah can change the decree. So we need to accompany, this is really the combination of mind, heart, words, and actions together. Let's read the verse about tzedakah from the Zohar to connect to its light. So I will read in Aramaic first. פתח רבי יוסי ואמר, בטח באדוני ועשה טוב, שכן ארץ וראה אמונה. זכאה חולקי דברנש לעבד טוב מדידי, דהי יתאר טוב בכנסת ישראל. ובמה? בצדקה. דחד יתאר צדקה, הוא טוב כדין יתאר לגבי כף יוד. ועד כתיב, וצדקה תציל ממוות, מ"ט, בגין דצדקה אילנה דחיי הוא, ויתאר על ההוא אילנה דמותה. ונטיל אינון דאחידן בי, ושזב לון מין מותה. מן גרים להוא אילנה דחיי דתאר להי, אבי אימה ההיא צדקה, די הוא אביד, כביכול הוא אביד לילה, כדה עושה צדקה בכל עת והיתמר. Rabbi Yossi opened the discussion and said, trust in Hashem and do good. Dwell in the land and enjoy security. Happy is the portion of he who does good using what it is, since he steers good, which is Yesod, towards the congregation of Israel, which is Malchut. What does he steer? With righteousness, charity. Since when righteousness is steers, that good steers towards the congregation of Israel. It is therefore written, but righteousness delivers from death. What is the reason for this? Because righteousness is the tree of life, Zer Anpin. It is aroused against the tree of death to take those who are attached to it, and it saves them from death. Who causes the tree of life to be steered to do that? One says, the charity that man does. It is as if he does it above, in causing Malchut to be united with the tree of life, as it's written, and do righteousness all the time. We have already explained. So this is from portion Behar, verse 62. 1 second, it's moving the whole thing for me. Okay, so what's really the tree of knowledge, good and bad, as we see it here, is really where negativity, where chaos, where energy of death manifests itself. Death, of course, it's not just physical death, it's any type of chaos, any ending of anything. Due to what? What is really the core, the seed of any ending? Desire to receive for oneself alone. Okay? Again, it's a vibration of energy. It doesn't mean that person is negative. Yes? And this is really what's separating me from the flow of life, which called the tree of life. When a person gives tzedakah, gives donation with the right intention, what's the right intention? To give for the sake of sharing, to give for the sake of bringing light, to give for the sake of revealing the light of the Creator in the world, to give for the sake of elevating the world. When that's my pure intention, because I want to elevate my consciousness, what is our usual consciousness? The tree of knowledge, good and bad, especially in the areas that I need to change. Okay, so in the same way, the shofar is taking our negativity and elevate them. I want my tzedakah to take my limited consciousness, my limited desires, my limited judgments, and by giving it away, especially when it's with an extra effort, to elevate it to the tree of life. Why am I elevating to the tree of life? Because I'm acting like the tree of life. I'm not worried what's going to be with me. I'm trusting. I'm giving it purely for the sake of sharing. And I'm doing actions of letting go. That allows me to connect with the tree of life. Because if you'll be in the tree of knowledge, good and bad, vibration, frequency, channel, as you want to call it, what does it mean? Constant anxieties, worries. What do you mean giving away? I will have less. I'm scared. That's the tree of knowledge, good and bad. The world of logic, the world of fear that we live in, this is the 1% that really controls everything in the illusionary way. It's what's going to be with me. Most of our worries and anxieties are not real, and it's about the future, right? What's going to be with me? In the moment I'm doing charity, maybe before I'm contemplating, deciding yes or no, but when I'm doing it and there's a pure intention, and of course the recipient, it's not just a family member, and of course what the recipient is doing with what you give them, of course, determine how much light you're going to reveal. And that's why, I mean, I can only speak for the center that everything we do affect people's souls. So you actually become a channel for immortality. And when you become a channel for immortality, of course, that's what you receive back. But the pure intention is I'm so happy and excited to give it away. And of course, the greater effort, the greater the elevation. And by doing it, I'm entering, as we see in the Zohar, to the tree of life. I am able to receive light from Bina and blessings from Bina, which is, as we mentioned before, all the things. It also says that what is really Rosh Hashanah? A person has to envision himself, herself, that the old self is dying. And by the way, for some of you that I know, I think most of you, and if you're not sure, ask me, doing mikveh, right? You can do mikveh in a mikveh or in a pool, in the lake, in the sea, wherever, in jacuzzi, if you can immerse yourself. But this is also a great, meditation for the mikveh, other than the usual one that you can find in Dialing God app, or you can ask me. But that the old self is dying or staying in the water if you're doing mikveh, and the new self is being reborn. So the Kabbalists ask, how can a person have a vessel that is really the greatest vessel to receive? To receive what? New life, not just the repetition of our previous year, just a little bit better. So we want endless and more blessed vessel. So it says a person has to bring a sacrifice. So when a person gives a tzedakah, donation, charity, why is it sacrifice? Because we know we have to invest our life force going to work to earn that money. And it says, when they take that part, because they earned it, we earned it through our hard work, right? And we give that part to the Creator. This is really what guarantee us, because it says when you do that, especially with this intention, the Creator will say, this is a person who deserve greater level of light and blessings, because we take that life force that we worked for to earn that money. So the Creator says, okay, I'm going to give him, in Hebrew it's called chiyut. I'm going to give them new, rejuvenated life force for the coming year. So tzedakah, charity, is really the sacrifice of the person's chiyut, life force, of manifesting that money. And then that becomes, according to the Kabbalists, a guarantee to receive greater light and blessings for the coming year. Now, I do want to connect, because this week's portion and all the portions we're actually going to read and focus on and connect to in the coming up Shabbats are another step, another way, another piece in the puzzle to allow us to prepare best for Rosh Hashanah. And this portion, this coming up portion, we're going to read this coming Shabbat is Ki Tetzeh. You will go out. And of course, it's another tool. So the story doesn't make much sense. And the story begins Ki Tetzeh lemilchama al oivecha. Meaning, if you go out to the battle with your enemies. And then it says, וראית בשביה אשת יפת תואר וחשקת בה. And you see a beautiful woman, it says, and you desire her. The Ari, Rabbi Isaac Luria, makes it very clear. We're not talking here about a physical battle. We're not talking about a man suddenly being infatuated from a beautiful woman. What we're talking about here, the Ari tells us, we're talking about an individual, each one of us, and our soul. So this portion will always appear in the month of Elul, the month of Virgo, the month of transformation. What has to happen? We have to come. We know it's just not like a biblical story or some beautiful story that happened historically. It's a huge tool. But it says through that portion, we have to come to a deeper and truer understanding of our soul. What does it mean? The biggest mistake that we make in our lives, the biggest mistake that manifests every single day, is that we view ourselves as infinitely smaller than who we actually are. Or, more importantly, than what our soul is. If we make the connection in the month of Elul, if we're doing our spiritual work, then we must come to a state of saying, oh my God, I never knew how expensive I am, my soul is. This is really the biggest mistake that we make every single day, especially the spiritual one of us. And what really, unfortunately, keeps us small. We do not appreciate who we are. And the gift of this Shabbat is to open up our eyes, open up our heart, our soul, our consciousness, to begin to understand who we are. When it says that you go out to the battle is the light that we lead, meaning the small life that we lead. And this has to be suddenly you come upon your beautiful soul. You realize what I thought I was, even in my wildest dreams, does not even come close to the beauty and the power and the strength of who I am, of what my soul is. When it says, v'chashakta ba, he desired her, it's basically us saying to ourselves, oh my God, I never realized who I am. And trust me, this is not ego. Our ego comes in the other opposite. Yeah, I know, I should wait. Michael Berg mentioned last Rosh Hashanah, I will stop share for a little, that one of the unique aspects of what happens to our soul, it says that each individual, it's not that like we think the collective is viewed, because we always say humanity is going through court, but it says each individual comes forth before the light of the Creator. And as we mentioned, that every person needs to be in a state where he or she, now I'm going to share. As you see, yeah? It says in Hebrew, Bishvili, and I put in transliteration. So all my Hebrew quotes, you can actually read and pronounce it. Bishvili nivra haolam, meaning the entire world was worth creating so that I exist in it. Can any of us honestly say to ourselves that we have such an appreciation for who we are that it is right for me to say, Bishvili nivra haolam, that all the people that have ever lived, all the people that will ever live, everything that has happened in the history of the world, not just humanity, was worthwhile, so my light is able to be revealed in the world. If a person is not able to come to Rosh Hashanah with that thought, it becomes much more difficult to receive the blessings and the year that the individual desires and needs. It's not about saying what I've done in the years backwards, that I've been in this world that is worthy of all humanity existent and all the worlds existent. This is probably not the case for most of us. But if I appreciate really who I am, what my soul is, how powerful and beautiful and expansive it is, then you can begin to think, to accept, Bishvili nivra haolam, the entire world was worth being created just for me. So the purpose of Elul, of this month, is not so much, although it is part of the process, to go outside and say, I heard this person, I did something I shouldn't have done. It is. But once you truly begin to know who you are, then of course the entire year should be different. It says in many writings, what happens to the soul after it leaves the physical body? Of course, there's a concept of what we call Gehenna, which means hell. Whatever that is, there's a lot of false explanations of that, it's fire and all kind of silly things. Of course, it's not what Gehenna, what hell really means. The Kabbalists teach that when the soul leaves the physical body, it is no longer confined by the illusion of this world. It finally then comes to realize what it is. And it comes out of the body. And for the first time, unfortunately for so many people, they realize, oh my God, my goodness, I was so powerful. I had so much potential to be powerful. I had the potential to transform the whole world. I had the potential to live a life upon which it was worth saying, Bishvili nivra haolam. The entire world should have been created just for my light to be revealed. Chas v'shalom, God forbid, the individual realizes, but I didn't. And that's the beginning of hell. That's the beginning of Gehenna. It's so painful for the soul. It's unbearable for the soul to feel. And that is what the Zohar speaks about, that the ultimate realization of who we are and the pain once the person's soul leaves the body, to realize how small the individual lived compared to who he or she is. This is what tshuva, repentance of Elul, needs to be. Take it very serious. Going through the year and saying, I shouldn't have done this or that, that's beautiful. Very small part of the process of tshuva, of repentance. Real tshuva. And that's why this Shabbat occurs in the month of Elul. And it's actually one of the most important ones throughout the 4 weeks of the month of Elul. You have to meet yourself. You have to come to the realization of who you are. And from that realization, say, compared to having an inkling of a little bit of understanding of who I am, my year should have been completely different. I lived so small, I did so little. Not compared to a good person, not compared to a spiritual person. If it makes you sadness or you feel less and what I did so much, Don't even go there. It's not about that. Nobody minimizing or putting you down for anything. Of course not. But we have to be honest. Otherwise, we can't draw endless blessings next year. The small me, the small person that most of us think this is who we are. Even when we think we're doing big things and great things, nobody says you're not. But compared to this expensive soul, upon which is worthy to say, Bishvili nivra olam, that the entire creation is worthwhile for my soul to reveal its light, compared to who I am, I really have to do tshuva. So Rabbi Isaac Luria explains that there is a special light, that shines in the week of Elul. I will only mention it now, and I will focus more about it in the last class because it's connected to what we do on the last Saturday night before Rosh Hashanah. That's called Slichot. And what I'm referring to is the 13 attributes of the Creator. It's also called the 13 attributes of mercy. That it's a Kabbalistic phrase. It's about the uniqueness of the light of the Creator. What is the purpose of that revelation? We're actually naming a lot of the Creator's different, very positive and divine, attributes. What's the purpose? It says through saying those 13 attributes, it actually comes from the realm, directly from the realm of Keter, what's called Atika, as the Kabbalists explain. So they say there is one purpose for me and for you and for each one of us. Open up our eyes and realize who we are. It's not about praising God. And as we said, the entire process of tshuva, it's not the small counting of a small life that I did some good here and I did some good there. And yeah, there were things I shouldn't have done and I want to correct, of course. The real tshuva, and this is how you know if you're doing tshuva, if you're really preparing yourself in the month of Elul, it's not, oh, I shouldn't have hurt that person. That's also, I should have done this and I didn't. Also, tshuva is real realization of, oh my God. And I keep on repeating it because I know how difficult it is for me to actually accept it. Maybe we hear it, we understand it, but to really feel it, you have to repeat. You have to hypnotize yourself and keep on repeating it till you actually feel it. Oh my God. I never saw, the precious soul I have. And there's so much for me to reveal. My limited, expensive soul, and my body, my consciousness is not allowing me because I'm confined with my ego, with my desire to receive for oneself alone. And that doesn't let my soul to be revealed. Just this understanding, please, no guilt, no blame, no shame. Please don't even go there. It's nothing to do with real work. This should make you happy and excited. And that's real tshuva. Real tshuva is discovering who we are. And with that, to really come before the soul, we don't want to wait, God forbid, for the soul to leave the body to realize that and say, oh my God, what a waste, such a great soul. We don't want that then, right? We want it now while we're here until 190 years for all of us, especially in the month of Elul. We have to open ourselves up to the greater and greater appreciation. And that's the secret of the verse, V'ra'ita isha eshet yifat toar. You will see a beautiful beautiful woman. And I know, and I guarantee you, it's going to be hard work. But at least we have the understanding of what has to happen. You have to come to a place where you say, oh my God, this beauty. I finally see it. And you wanted, you awaken a real desire to manifest your greatness, your expensive, beautiful, powerful soul in the world. And the Kabbalists say that's the only work of Elul. It's the only real work that actually prepares us for Rosh Hashanah. It says that as we come to Rosh Hashanah, most people, one of the Kabbalists, the Bet Yosef, Rabbi Moshe Karo, says most people, if they're coming before judgment, naturally, they're coming before a moment that will decide their entire year. Most people coming for the prayers, very scared for the holiday, very scared. It says that even most people wear dark clothing, they go frightened, they cry in the prayers. But the Kabbalists write, we don't. if you know, I mean, if you came also in Shabbat or holidays, only the men, they need more antennas, more tools. They wear white, all white. Women can wear white, they don't have to. For men, it helps, you know, it's a tool. And we're very joyous. If you didn't pay attention, we sing a lot, we clap our hands, we dance a lot. Why? So it says, the Kabbalists are joyous in Rosh Hashanah. It says, Betuchim shiaseh lahem nes, because we are certain that a miracle is going to happen to us on Rosh Hashanah. So how do we know? How do we know that? And by the way, there's another general term which is also Kabbalistic that says En sumchim al hanes. We don't trust a miracle, meaning usually the concept that is also true, you don't go somewhere and do something silly, dangerous, and depend, assume, and hope that a miracle will happen. You don't depend on miracles, right? You still take precautions and you are responsible and so forth. So why, as it refers to Rosh Hashanah, that the Kabbalists say, Betuchim shiaseh lahem nes. They are certain that the reason why our Rosh Hashanah is going to be powerful, why our next year is going to be powerful, is because we are certain that a miracle is going to happen, and we're going to receive a year filled with only light and blessings and health and light. Why? The answer is only and only if you discover your soul in Elul. If you get to the state of, and I know it's difficult, if you get to the state where you begin to realize who you are and you begin to taste the truth that for this soul, maybe not for what it's done so far, maybe not for what has revealed so far, but this soul, its potential, its expansive, its light, its power, its beauty that I desire so much, this soul, of course, deserves only light and blessings next year. And more importantly, deserves to reveal itself next year. When you're the entire world, of course, you can trust to have a miracle. Of course, on Rosh Hashanah, what you will get is light and life and blessings. But if a person comes and they feel scared, and I know it's also scary, you know, because it's natural, but it's important at least to awaken this understanding. A good person comes to Rosh Hashanah, a spiritual person, but he comes small. All of us have been living very, very small. And we come to Rosh Hashanah and we say, please, 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 can you please send me more health, more money? I'll be so happy and grateful. I just want a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Chances are you can't be in Betuchim shiaseh lahem nes. You can depend on the miracle, on only receiving light and life. But if you come with who you are, with the beginning of an inkling of understanding of who you are, and therefore can begin to truly say to yourself and to the Creator, maybe not who I've been, but I begin to see who I am and the power of my soul, the expansive, and what it meant to do, and the light that it meant to reveal, then of course I can say it's worthwhile for the soul. For me, the whole world was created to finally have a year within it's revealed itself. And then you come to Rosh Hashanah, and then with certainty know what I will receive with only light and blessings. The Zohar speaks about an important concept. It's also spoken in the Talmud, that there's a contradiction in verses as it relates to our relationship with the light of the Creator. There is one verse that says, Mi kahashem Elokeinu bechol korenu elav, that the Creator answers us whenever we ask. The Creator is always with us. Of course, to most people, it's not the experience, but that's what this verse says. And then there's another verse Hidirshuhu be'yoto karov, that you have to seek the Creator when he's closed. because there are times when you're not close to the Creator, and there are times that you are close to the Creator. So on one level, one verse is one teaching seems to imply that you can be connected to the Creator all the time, and anything that you ask for, you will receive. And another verse seems to imply the opposite. No, there are certain times that you are really close, that you can ask and you can receive, and other times no. So contradiction. So which one is right? So the Kabbalists say the following. They say, kan biyachid, kan b'tzibur, meaning when an individual, a singular person, is praying by himself, by herself, asking, needing for themselves only, it's true, the Creator isn't always closed. Karaui beyoto korov. You have to find what's called a special opening, a specific time when the Creator is closed, and maybe if you happen to pray that time, maybe that request can be answered. But when you're part of a bigger community, part of a large group of people, it doesn't matter even if you stream, it's not just physically, and you're also asking for the same thing, together, same consciousness, then it says, Mika Hashem Elokeinu b'chol korenu elav. That's when the Creator will definitely answer. It says the Creator will definitely assist. So that's the teaching, that an individual has to have the right moment to be able to receive. And when it's collective, when there's a large group of people, then it says always the prayer are answered. Always the connection is made. Always the blessings are given. Now we're going to direct our consciousness. I need, in the month of Elul, entering into Rosh Hashanah, to see myself as a multitude, to see myself as a mass. That person who comes to Rosh Hashanah with that sense of themselves as that mass of humanity, I can pray for humanity as powerful as it says, like thousands of elevated souls. Then that person is in a state of what's called tzibur, in a state where he or she will receive light and blessings. We all need a miracle in Rosh Hashanah, and it's not regular work. I come, I cry, I feel bad with myself, I could be a better person, and I expect the Creator now to answer me. The miracle is predicted on one thing, explain the Kabbalists: who I am. If I come to Rosh Hashanah and I know, and this isn't ego, oh, I've done so many amazing things, because if we're really honest with ourselves, compared to who we are, we've done nothing. We've done great things, for sure, beautiful, but compared to who I am, trust me, nothing. But if I come, and this is the purpose of this Shabbat, you see that beautiful woman, you come in contact with you. Look, you're opening to see, oh my God, what a beautiful, powerful soul I have. And you create that awakening of desire. And there's nothing that I desire more than finally live with the expansiveness and the greatness of my soul. That person, say the Kabbalists, and only that person with that true consciousness can come to Rosh Hashanah and trust that they will have a miracle, with a certainty that the miracle will happen. This is going to be a year filled with only light and blessings. The Kabbalists teach something interesting, that one of the reasons these 40 days from the beginning of Elul up until Yom Kippur are so important, there's a concept called the 40 days before life begins. It's called Zman Yetzirat Avalad, the time where everything is done from Rosh Hashanah till Yom Kippur is basically creating a new life. This idea that I need to know who I am is true and important the whole year, but never as important as in these 40 days of what's called Zman Yetzirat Avalad, as we're creating our next year. And I and you and each one of us has to do at least this Shabbat, begin to appreciate, even if we don't see it with our eyes or even with our consciousness, begin opening up the door to the possibility, to the reality of the power. And again, if you take 1,000 people that you think are the most elevated and powerful people in the world, and imagine what light seems to you to be, and then realize that all of that is nothing compared to who you are. This is the only consciousness, and therefore, as the Kabbalists teach, we do a lot of spiritual connections. There's a lot of prayers, and we come to Shabbat, we read Zohar, we take classes, we do actions of sharing. What is the single most important consciousness before every action? Now we know. Let me discover myself. Let me have the merit, the zchut in Hebrew, which is merit, zakut, the purity, to realize who I am. Because once you do, then there's no stopping. You will start feeling different. Everything will start changing. The way you see things, act. Unfortunately and painfully, most people only have that clarity when the soul leaves the body. But at that point, it's too painful, because at that point, without the body, there's not much you can do to reveal light in the world. But we have to beg. We want to beg this Shabbat. And this is the light of this Shabbat. This is the work of Elul. And this needs to be our consciousness before every action or connection that we make. I'm reading Zohar right now. I'm doing Ana Bekoach. I'm doing Mikveh. So I can begin to know who I am. I'm connecting to Shabbat so I can begin to realize who I am. I'm taking a class for that. And if you are not overwhelmed with appreciation for the greatness of your soul, beginning this Shabbat, coming to Rosh Hashanah, there's a problem. Not a spiritual, but a problem for that person to be able to receive the miracles of Rosh Hashanah and a limitless year coming up. We have to beg this on this Shabbat. We have no idea who we are. It's not that for this Shabbat, it's what we desperately need as we're coming to Rosh Hashanah. And just to end, there's a section in the book of Psalms, verse 27. And it says that it's important to say every day in the month of Elul. And you can see it here. Okay. Al titneni benefesh tzarai. Do not allow me to remain in the hands of those who hate me, of my enemies. Lule he'emanti lirot betuv Hashem be'eretz chaim. As you can see in red, the word lule. Basically, what it means, this sentence, if not for, one sec. Do not allow me to remain in the hands of those who hate me, of my enemies, if I hadn't believed in God's goodness. This is the translation. But as you see in red, the word lule, same letters of the Hebrew word Elul. In the month of Elul, I beg to see my greatness. I beg to see the great light that resides within this soul, the great potential that resides within the soul. Because all that the negative side wants to do, al titneni benefesh tzarai, do not let me remain in the hands of my enemies. And those who speak negative about me, who is my biggest enemy? Who's number one speaking bad about me? Is me. It's what's happening inside. We've accepted it too fast, too long. We've accepted the smallness. We've accepted the arguments of our deepest enemy. Lule he'emanti. But in the month of Elul, I have certainty that I can begin to see who I am. And this is not something that comes naturally to us, as we have been trained, however long we've been in this world, to see ourselves as a diminished being. Constantly, we all been through traumas and pain. We all have open scars from this life, from previous lives. We're not new souls. We've been here many, 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 many times. And we feel it, and we diminish ourselves. Even those of us who have a spiritual awakening. What we want to beg for in this Shabbat, V'ra'ita eshet yifat toar. How do you know if you're doing the work in Elul? Oh my God, I'm beginning to appreciate who I am. And I desire to complete and total revelation of me, of my soul. And everything that I do in this month is only for one purpose, to know who I am, to know what this soul that resides within this body is. And then, בטוחים שיעשה להם נס. Then you have the certainty that you will have huge miracles this coming year. If we do this work and we beg for this revelation and we begin to slowly feel the unbelievable, beautiful, expensive soul, and we desire to know it, then we are guaranteed, as we come to Rosh Hashanah, that our coming year will only be filled with light and blessings, because I realize that I am what we call a tzibur, I am a mass of humanity, of light.
Join us this year to Rosh Hashanah. Every year before Rosh Hashanah, I ask the Creator to give me the message for all of us for this year. And the one thing that became very clear when I meditated upon the year, we know every year has a numerical value, 5,785, Tafshin Pei. The last two letters, Pei, 85 numerical value, form a very important code, Ho, here. And the verse that was given to me is the verse in the Torah that says, Et asher omed imanu po hayom lifnei Hashem Elokeinu. All those who stand here, the word po, 85 numerical value, here with us today before the Creator. Et asher omed imanu po hayom lifnei Hashem Elokeinu. Which is an understanding that this year, which is the beginning, coming at the end of a very chaotic year, it makes it so much more necessary for us to be here. And here means in the collective consciousness and energy and light that we're going to awaken together. So maybe more than certainly many years past, to be po, to be here with us together in body, mind, and spirit is very important. Why? The great Kabbalist Rabbi Melech Vizhensk explains that there's a concept called Klal Yisrael, the collective. And what that means that each one of us individually, we have our positive and we have our negative, we have light that we've revealed. We've also, of course, most of us have done also negative things. Rosh Hashanah, the most important time of the year, when we are literally awakening all the endless light and blessings and protection and health and sustenance and family that we want and need for the next 12 months. We don't want to come ourselves. We don't want to come individually. We want to come as the collective. In that realm of collective, it's a different realm than where we live individually. In the collective realm, we are protected. In the collective realm, we are perfect. The great Kabbalist Rabbi Simcha ben Pashischa says that if you want to know all the secrets of Rosh Hashanah, there's a verse in the prophets where the woman says, Betoch ami anochi yoshavet. I am sitting, I am enveloped by my people. That is what Rosh Hashanah is about. Again, you can make the connection on Shabbat, on other days, on your own. And of course, you can make the connection on Rosh Hashanah on your own. You don't want to. We want to grab the opportunity on this Rosh Hashanah to draw only light and blessings for the year, for ourselves, for those around us, and for the world. There's only one way to do that. To be po, to be physically together, to be betoch ami anochi yoshavet, be enveloped by all of our friends here together, and then we can connect to that realm where there is only perfection, where our individual lack or individual negativity does not and cannot influence the light and the blessings that we draw. So like I said, there is no other time of the year that, I want to be careful. I don't want to say it's dangerous to make the connection alone. More importantly, we want to make sure to maximize our ability to draw all the light and the blessings that we need, that our family needs, that the world needs for the year. The way to really protect that energy and draw it in perfection is betoch ami anochi yoshavet, in the collective. And I was thinking, and again, I don't recommend this, but to illustrate and maybe underscore the importance of this coming together on Rosh Hashanah more than any other time of the year, I was thinking if, some people might be overwhelmed by Rosh Hashanah, it's a lot of connections, it's a lot of meditations. To be clear, if you simply came to New York with us and stayed in your hotel room, never joined even for a second of the connection, but your consciousness and your desire is to be part of that collective, you'll get that light. Of course, you want to get more. Of course, I do recommend you join us for the connections and the lectures and the meditations and the prayers. But I want to make it clear that what I'm looking forward to for this Rosh Hashanah, of course, we're going to make all the connections. We're going to blow the shofar, everything and all of that. But really, what I am most excited about and what I know was going to guarantee, Bezat Hashem, for me, for my family, for those around me, a year filled with only light and blessings, is the fact that we are coming together, Paul, in this physical space, together with the collective energy and desire to create that vessel of unity that is perfect. And into that vessel, you and I and each one of us individually can and will certainly draw the light, the blessings, the health, the healing, the protection that we need, that those around us need, that the world needs. Therefore, I ask you to please, from my own connection, but for yours as well, let's make sure we all make maximum effort to physically be together in this Rosh Hashanah, et asher omed imanu po hayom lifnei Hashem Elokeinu, that we will all be standing together in unity before the light of the Creator and drawing the limitless blessings for ourselves, for those around us, for the world that so desperately needs this great infusion of light for the next 12 months.
I was thinking about this recently. I looked back at the last 30 years of studying Kabbalah, and I realized that the first thing I started doing after I found this wisdom and took Kabbalah 1, then I started volunteering, the thing that I did every single year was come to Rosh Hashanah. And I was very young at the time, but I innately knew that I needed to make sure that if I wanted to start my year out correctly, I needed to be in the right place, at the right time, with the right people. Meaning, this is a cosmic window that is open one time of year. Be with like-minded people who have the same intentions in that same window. And then, with great effort and desire, make sure that I was there. And it was not easy at the time because I was supporting myself in many different ways. So no matter where you find yourself, let's start here. What is your desire for the coming year? So in order to really identify your desire, you have to look back at what the previous year was. What worked for you? What was great? How did you grow? And then what areas do you want to change? What do you want to see in the coming year? With that desire, there must be action. Means put yourself in the right place with the right people at the right time. Because if you think about a business, right? When we create something, let's say we want to create a shoe factory. You might get the machine, you might have the design in mind, you might know what kind of shoes you want to create, you might know how you want to spread them out in the year or the years to come as you build the business. But besides that desire and that vision, you must take action. And that's what Rosh Hashanah really is. We have the rest of the 363 days of the year to go around to kind of wonder where we should be, what's the right decision, what's the right place to go to, how do I know I should be here? Right now, these 2 days can set up the rest of your year, and in these 2 days will not only direct it, but it will help you manifest it. And there's no question here, it's not ambiguous. In these 2 years, you don't have to kind of question, what should I be doing? How should I be doing it? Who should I be speaking with? Where should my conscience be? It's there. All you have to do is take your desire and manifest it. So I know where I'll be. We hope to see you all there joining us as one with consciousness, not just to manifest what we desire in our own lives, but really we together collectively will impact the world at large. And we need it now more than ever. So we hope you all join us.
We look forward to seeing you with us at Rosh Hashanah and together collectively drawing down endless and limitless light and blessings for all of us and for our world. We'll see you there.